the New England Ski Journal's Basecamp Podcast, presented by Country Ski and Sport. Ski season is here, and it's time to gear up at Country Ski and Sport. Shop now for your best preseason deals at any of their 3 locations in Hanson, Quincy, and Westwood, Mass. Or shop online at countryski.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to the New England Ski Journal Basecamp Podcast. I'm Mike Specian, your host, with my co-host right now,
Chip Cook. Mike, how are you today?
Chip, I'm doing fantastic. Welcome, almost summer.
Almost summer. It's pretty exciting right now. You know, the weather finally turned for us. There's a little bit of hope on the future.
Well, yeah, it really has. I was watching the news the other day, and the weathercaster was just stunned how quick the water's warming up on the coast.
It's a couple of things I noticed recently. I know you surf, I surf, is about a week ago. I'm in a thick 5'4" suit. All of a sudden, 3'2". And the other key thing, and I like to point out, the Cape has seen its first sharks.
Yeah, we did an episode last year on sharks. They're real. Sharks are out there, so anybody swimming down on the Cape, just be smart, please.
It's one of those things. I always tell people, they go, "Don't you worry." I go, "I don't." You know, it's their part. It's about using common sense, but I always kind of embrace it because it's that first sign for me that I'm getting out of a winter suit and can actually start to enjoy summer water the way it's supposed to be.
Well, you know, I've been windsurfing barefoot, so that speaks a lot, because a month and a half, 2 months ago, that wasn't possible. It was a little cold yet, but, you know, the changes are happening. Looks like the golf courses look really good, not that I play golf. And I've been doing a lot of bike riding, which is fantastic.
It's we hit that. I think we're over that bump. You know, Memorial Day, I was at home, was kind of laughing with my wife that we started our first annual badminton tournament that we had in our backyard. But it was the first day we could start to get outside and do some things, and it's not worry about, do I need a jacket? Do I need a raincoat? Do I need this? It was just an enjoyable weekend.
Well, that's the beauty of it. Just think of the day when you can just go surfing with just board shorts. I mean, the difference between hopping on my stand-up board and surfing and going windsurfing, and I tell my wife this all the time, is, boy, it takes so much less equipment. I mean, it's just the truth. It's crazy. But the weather, you know, the weather has finally seemed to have broken for us. You know, weekends, we had a spurt. We had so much rain.
Oh, it was wet. That's to say the least. My grass is happy, but like one of the things we're going to talk about today a little bit, you can finally get back out on your bike. You know, I like to mountain bike. It's one of my passions, but it's everything's been muddy and tearing up trails to this point. That's one of my big things is I think we're finally starting to see everything dry out and we can get back out there.
I think you're right, because last summer, if you remember, we always forget about, you know, thank goodness we put the bad things behind us, but last summer we had rain upon rain. Not only does it affect our mental state, it affects the economies that depend on nice weather, whether it be the shops on the Cape or the resorts up north.
It's tough. Weather is that determining factor, and it's, you know, you and I are two guys that we've spent our whole life trying to find that smile, and when you start putting a lot of rainy days together, and it affects you, and like you said, you don't want to go anywhere, and there's so many places in our area too, especially in the summer, to go travel around.
Yeah, you know what? The summer opens up everything, especially in the North Country. We just had on Colorado ski country.
Yep.
Look, the mountains are beautiful there. You know, I suggest anybody make sure at some point to experience the Colorados, the Utahs, the Montanas, the Wyomings in the summertime, not just the wintertime. But here in New England, you know, New Hampshire, the whites are wonderful, but Vermont holds a different sort of vibe to it than possibly any place else in the country.
It's a not unique, but it's different. And that's the thing about Vermont. Time slows down. It really does. You travel to Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont. It takes on a different culture, and it's a unique place. It's a lot of fun, and you touched on it. It's one of those. It's underrated. I think it's greatly underrated.
It is. I mean, from swimming holes, we had Ski Vermont on last year going into the summer. We talked about trying to find some of the protected swimming holes. But we've also had on other people from Vermont on this show. Today, we're going to be talking about the Beast of the East. We're going to be talking about their mountain bike program, which I firmly believe is one of the premier out there.
I do. I think they've set a pace that everyone's kind of chasing. And if you mountain bike or you enjoy lift access mountain biking, they're a leader. They've for beginners to experts, they've got it all.
They do. In almost like a ski area, in separate areas.
Yeah, they don't separate. They make everyone feel inclusive, but it's all there. And it's very safe. You don't ever feel like you get to the top of the chairlift and you're overwhelmed. They do a great job of that.
They do. And, Killington just recently closed skiing, which is pretty amazing. I mean, in New England, mid-state Vermont, it speaks volumes for their ability to make snow and hold snow and their ability to groom snow. But, Memorial Day weekend, they had their mountain biking open. They had their skiing open. They had their golf open.
The stage race.
Stage race.
Everything. Like you said, we just got done talking about Colorado and how there's so much to do. But here, an hour and a half away from where we're sitting right now, same things are going on.
Yeah. How often can you sit at the umbrella bar with a skier, a road biker in road gear, mountain biker with full face helmets, and a golfer walking up with his clubs?
It's like a bad joke, but it happens. And you nailed it. That's the uniqueness, the quirkiness of Vermont. That's what makes it one of the funnest places to go visit in the summer months.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. So we have had on, I'm going to put it out there. There really are 3 premier locations for lift service mountain biking here in New England. Thunder Mountain at Berkshire East. We had the Schaefers on last year with their programs. We just recently had on Mark Hayes at the Highlands, something totally unique, mountain bike only, which they have done an incredible job. But the Beast of the East is still the Beast of the East when it comes to biking.
It's big, but it's never lost by its size. From what I've experienced up there with the trail system, they're all maintained well. Everything is placed for a reason. You never feel lost, and that's one of the things I know from my early days of mountain biking. Getting lost was quite a common occurrence, unfortunately. But
it was part of the fun. But the bars were narrow. We
didn't have shocks. And Mark Hayes and I were just talking about it. It was a different day and age of the Tomacs. Oh, it's hardtails. I've still got scars from
different... But did you follow John Tomac and put turn down handlebars?
Oh,
probably, yeah.
At least once.
At least once to see if you could go faster. But coming up next is from Killington, Vermont, Taylor Zink, terrain park supervisor up at Killington. We're looking forward to talking to Taylor and seeing what's going on this summer up at the Beast of the East.
Looking for expert ski, snowboard, and boot fitting advice? Stop into one of Country Ski and Sport's 3 locations in Quincy, Westwood, or Hanson, Mass. As a third-generation family business, Country Ski has provided Boston area skiers with the best service and discounts in the area for over 50 years. Whether you are brand new to the sport or a seasoned veteran, Country Ski has the equipment and accessories for all ability levels. Don't forget to ask about their popular season lease program, which helps families eliminate the growing pains of purchasing new equipment every year as kids grow. And don't forget, any child 18 years or younger receives a free season pass to Saddleback Mountain with each lease from Country Ski. Visit countryski.com for all the latest information or to shop online.
The Button Ski Hanger is a patented ski storage fixture that safely stores alpine skis regardless of length, width, or shape. This means that your fat powder skis can now be stored next to your narrower carving skis, your race skis, and your kid skis. For more information, visit their website, buttonskirack.com. The Button Ski Hanger is also available for purchase at amazon.com. So make your purchase today. The Button Ski Hanger is simply better for your skis.
At 4,237 feet, Sugarloaf is one of the largest ski areas in the East and second highest peak in the state of Maine, trailing only Mount Katahdin. Boasting over 1,300 acres of open terrain and a vertical drop of nearly 3,000 feet, Sugarloaf offers a wide variety of terrain for all ability levels. A historic winter is ahead with the debut of West Mountain. It's the largest terrain expansion in the Northeast since the late 1970s, adding 12 new beginner and intermediate trails, 88,000 feet of snowmaking pipe, and 246 HKD snowmaking guns. Sugarloaf is a destination not to be missed. Stay slopeside and plan your trip today at sugarloaf.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Basecamp Podcast. Now joining us from Killington, Vermont, Taylor Zink, Terrain Park Supervisor up there at the Beast of the East. Hey, Taylor, how you doing?
Welcome, Taylor.
Good. Thanks for having me, guys. And just recently, I got promoted to Terrain Park Manager. So new title on the books for me now.
All right.
Good job.
Moving
Good job.
Moving up in the world.
Oh, listen to the cheers in the background. It's like being at Fenway.
It's always good when one of us can make it, you know? We move up.
Hey, remember us, okay?
I'll do my best.
Hey, Taylor, give us a little background on yourself. You spent some time out in Lake Tahoe, we saw, and did skiing bring you to the mountains or to mountain biking?
A little bit of both. I grew up in the heart of the Berkshires down in Western Mass, a small town called Dalton. Grew up there, hanging out outside, riding bikes, snowboarding, doing sports, all that good stuff. And after high school, I went off to Bryant University in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Didn't really know what I wanted to study, but I knew business would be kind of just a good, general background to have in life. Ended up pursuing marketing and communications, got my bachelor's there. And then I didn't really know what to do after graduating. I knew I wanted to be in a mountain community. I wasn't really drawn to the city life, growing up in a small town. It a little overwhelming for me. So moved up to Vermont. My brother was going to college here at, it was then Green Mountain College. Now it's part of Castleton, studying resort management. And he had a good thing going up here. So I was like, all right, Killington seems like the spot. I was here for about a year, living over in Woodstock, working at the Woodstock Inn, parking cars, holding doors, bringing bags up to the rooms. And that allowed me to snowboard and ride my bike as much as I could. And then he graduated college and said, hey, we're going to Tahoe with his girlfriend at the time, now wife. And they needed my car to get out there. So I figured, once they left, I didn't really have anything holding me to Vermont. So I said, why not? Let's go check it out. I know the mountains are good. The lake looks cool. And didn't really know what I was getting into, but spent 5 years, better part of 5 years out there. My brother, they spent 2 years and then it just wasn't for them. So they came back to Vermont. But I wanted to keep the dream alive. I was having a lot of fun out there, working all sorts of different jobs, just embracing the lake life, snowboarding all winter long, 150 days a year. Seasons were nice and long out there. So that was cool. And then I hit a point where I just needed to get my feet under me, start making some money and kind of have more of a purpose in life rather than just floating season to season. So came back to Killington and yeah, here I am. That was in fall of 2018. I started as a snowmaker. Really wanted to get into a snowcat, but I didn't have any experience. So they're like, we'll get you in a cat. You just got to make snow for the better part of the season. And did that for the first winter. And then the next summer, I kind of knew about the bike park. I had never ridden here, but I had a terrain park background from my time in Tahoe. So it was a good fit and just happened to be the right place at the right time. And now I'm running the department here and doing a little bit of everything.
That is, it was funny. I was reading an article you talked about that, just that they made you make snow. Can you touch on that a little bit? I mean, that to me, snowmakers are awesome. You know, they bring the gold.
They sure do. And, you know, I was looking for jobs in the area. I spent the summer I moved back east. I spent that summer with my parents, and my mom was really pushing me. She's like, "Oh, this snowmaking job looks like it'd be a great fit for you." And I was looking at the description, like I'd seen, you know, the Instagram posts and stuff. And I said, yeah, I don't know if I want to be out in the cold and in the dark all night. And I just didn't really draw me in. But after meeting with Dave Lacombe, our snow surfaces manager here, he really kind of talked it up. And I said, why not? You know, I want to get a foot in the door. I'd like to drive a snowcat, see what that's all about. And you can't groom the trails if there's no snow on them. So it just kind of worked out. I really enjoyed it, honestly. It was a rush. Every day was a little different challenges. And there's nothing better than being outside and seeing a trail turn from green grass to a couple feet of snow.
And Killington does it as good as anybody. You know, today's snowcats, piston bullies, and so on are much different than what I used to groom with Bang Tuckers. Okay, little different animals these days, but
it's now going back to the snowmaking. Killington just ended up. I mean, over 200 days this season, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think we're looking at 196 days on the season. We'll have closing day for June 1st, and grooming's going to keep it alive thanks to the snowmaking team and their efforts all season long.
And
pretty impressive, honestly, from what I'm seeing out the window.
Unbelievable.
For you, how's that transition going to happen? I know you guys just had the stage rate. Like you're making a move now, aren't you? Like,
yeah, the move was made a couple weeks ago, honestly. You know, end of April, as soon as the snow started melting, we had crew out leaf blowing, clearing down trees, opening drains, just getting the trails ready for Memorial Day weekend when the Snowshed Bike Park trails opened. We actually had a terrain park over off of Superstar right up through May 3rd. So we kind of had, you know, a 2-week period of the crew just kind of being all spread out all over the place. And our last park day was May 12th, excuse me. So we had a couple weeks where we were balancing both seasons, just a couple of features on the hill, but the logistics this time of year with the melt and the maintenance, and it's just a lot to keep up with. But we've been doing this for a while here, and the crew was eager to get on the trails and make that switch. So pretty seamless transition. Gets a little easier every year, but a lot of moving parts and a lot of things to keep eyes on.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts because, you know, we see it out at Mammoth when they get a lot of snow trying to get their trails ready because they have, you know, events and stuff. That when the snow stays late, us skiers are happy, but it makes it real tough for the resort operators to make that transition. Killington has embraced mountain biking through the years, and it is arguably the largest in the Northeast. I mean, you guys are doing an incredible job. When did it start embracing mountain biking? And I would also like to know what the Beast Pass is all about.
Sure. Mountain biking in Killington, we started serving bikers on the lift back in 1991. That was way before my time up here. And just from what I've heard and seen, you know, online and stuff, it seemed like a lot of just raw, rugged, you know, ski trail and work road type riding on really old bikes. Didn't have full suspension.
They weren't that old to
Chip,
you. I mean,
Chip,
I don't even know if they had disc brakes.
No,
you probably don't know what a hardtail is anymore, or a bike without shocks. But...
Hey, Taylor, we did go to hydraulic, okay? Just so you know. Hayes Hydraulics.
But yeah, so man, what's that? 33, 34 years ago now.
10.
Things have changed.
Thanks for making us both feel old.
Things have changed. Back in 2014, Powder had Gravity Logic come in. They're a trail building company based out of Whistler, British Columbia. They're pretty well known in the bike industry. They've designed and built a lot of bike parks. They're really good with their jump trails and their master planning of just kind of taking, the landscape and envisioning what, a thriving bike park and trail network would look like. So they came in and they just tore through Snowshed and added a bunch of new trails, flow trails, tweaked some of the existing trails. And after that got up and running, they moved over to Ramshead and built a couple trails over there, and left the peak pretty much untouched. But yeah, it's been about 10 years now of kind of the modern Killington Bike Park, and it just keeps getting better every year. You
Now,
can enjoy it for yourself if you buy the Beast Pass, give you access all year round.
yeah. So how does that work out? Can you
Yeah,
talk about that a
so
little bit?
the Beast Pass is a, Beast 365 is kind of what we call, living here, playing here. There's something to do every season, all year round. If you order before June 20th, you can lock in the monthly subscription. I think it's around $140 or so for an adult. And then they do away with the monthly subscription if you purchase after and you pay in full. But what that gives you is unlimited access to everything Killington and Pico have to offer. It's a
Wow.
really good deal, especially if you're local or if you are able to get up here pretty regularly. I have a lot of friends that are on that pass that don't work at the mountain, and it's a great thing to have if you're in the area.
That's incredible considering a gym pass.
The at what, $55-$60 a month maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, to access all of that, it's worth a drive up here from Boston, no problem.
Oh, yes. So you talked about piston bullies. You're terrain park manager now. Look out, Mike. He's coming after your job. Do you use the piston bully on the trails? I know
No.
the answer.
They're a little too big for the bike trails that we have, although they probably fit down Black Magic. That's our Black Diamond jump trail. Biggest jumps on the hill, but we use a different kind of cat. We have a couple mini excavators and a skid steer that really moves some material around, shape the trails. That really gives us a good head start when we have to go through with rakes and shovels, tune it all up by hand, give it that final shape and appearance. But yeah, different kind of cat for the summer.
A little bit. I knew the answer.
One of the things I wanted to ask, because when we talk about mountain biking, Mike, myself, many of our friends, it's a non-issue. We've all partaked and we've done it, but there's a lot of people who look at it and they're scared. And I know you guys offer a ton of different levels, and there's ways for anyone to kind of go out there and enjoy it. And it's not just for those of us who are going to, not that I'm looking for jumps anymore, but those of us who are going to go as fast as we can down the hill. There's more to it, correct?
Oh yeah, there's a lot to it, and it's really important if you're starting out for the first time to just really get comfortable with handling the bike, knowing what all the different, levers and stuff do. And then once you have mastered kind of the balance, the control, the handling, then you take it up a notch, do some more skill-based features, cornering, learning when to brake, when to let it roll, and then go up on the lift and let it fly down Easy Street. That's our premier green trail. It's pretty wide, couple rollers, some really mellow turns, and great place to get your feet wet and mountain biking.
So is that over at Snowshed then?
Yeah, all of our beginner terrain for the bike park is at Snowshed. Pretty similar to in the winter. That's kind of the hub for our never evers and people just getting into the sport, summer or winter. We've got a handful of green trails and blue trails with a good mix of technical and kind of free ride elements. Free ride being the more machine built, flowed out, kind of smoother surface, allows you to go a little faster. And then the technical trails just offer a good mix of natural terrain, maybe some man-made elements, but a lot of roots and rocks. Snowshed's the place to be. Families, beginners, I mean, even experienced riders are going to have a good time there. We have a couple more technical trails that kind of give you a taste of what Ramshead and K1 have to offer as well.
Now, do you for someone that doesn't have a bike, there's bike shops up there, but does Killing, same as like when we approach the ski side of things, is there instruction like rental, or can you drop the kids off and you go ride? Is there a way that I can leave my niece and go have some fun on my own? Or
oh yeah, we're full service here at Killington. The rental shop in the winter, when that closes for the season, they transform that whole building, first floor of the Snowshed Lodge, and that's where our whole bike fleet lives. We're getting new bikes every year, and every couple of years we're selling off our older bikes to make room for the new ones. So usually at the start and end of each season, there's some bikes for sale. And if you can't afford that, or not sure if you really want to commit to that investment, grab a rental. We offer all the pads, equipment you need, and then we also offer lessons and camps. There's a whole slew of different groups for different ability levels, and they'll take care of you over there for sure.
Well, I used to be with Scott, and of course we supplied Killington at one point. So, you know, very intimate. I was also with Elon, so you can imagine we supplied Killington also. So, you know, it's amazing what you guys are doing overall for that entry level on Snowshed. What about the, you know, I'm an accomplished rider. I'm putting my full face on. I'm putting the pads on. Where am I going for that?
Yeah, if you're confident in your ability and you're looking to check out some spicier trails, hit up Ramshead. That's where our signature Gravity Logic jump trails are, Blue Magic and Black Magic. They're both roughly 2.5 miles long, so about twice as long of a run as you'll get on Snowshed. Speed's a little faster, jumps are a little bigger. That's also where we have our downhill course called Goat Skull. That's where we race Eastern States Cup, and then we modify it every year for the Fox US Open in September. So if you want to go fast through some roots and rocks with a couple jumps and some big berms, Goat Skull's the trail for you. There's a couple other technical trails, and then from there, if you really want to get after it, head up to Gondola, and that's where you'll find all the legacy trails from back in the day. They've slowly evolved and changed, and some new sections have been added as things erode over the years. So there's definitely something for everyone here, and there's a lot of untapped terrain to get into as well. So I'm really excited for what the future holds.
So you're saying you are actually riding at this point off of 5 of the 6 peaks?
Yes. Yeah. We have 3.
That's amazing.
Lifts, 3 lifts that cover pretty much the whole mountain.
Everything but the Superstar side. So you're riding Snowden also then?
Yeah, we have some trails that cut across and down Snowden. We have some trails that loop over to the top of Bear, and then
oh wow,
all that stuff kind of wraps back around across Sky Peak and ties back in to bring you back to Snowshed.
Wow, I didn't realize that you're riding all the peaks then to some degree or another, not from the top,
right,
but you're on terrain. That's amazing.
That is, how many guys are on the crew?
This year we have 16. 2 of them are dedicated equipment operators, and then the rest of us kind of just do whatever is needed.
And how much time, you know, whether it's the terrain park or this, I mean, how much time are you guys spending in a fabrication barn? I mean, I can't imagine the amount of wood screws you're going through at any given day.
Yeah, in the summer we have a lot of bridges. You know, every year we got to replace deck boards and sometimes replace the whole bridge. And then we also have kind of a feature fabricator. His name's Colin. He has been working here longer than I have, and his role has kind of developed into He's the feature guy. He's the one that does all the welding. He drums up all the ideas for the rails and stuff in the winter, and he's actually helped us with some bike features as well. We framed some of those progression features out of steel, makes them real easy to scoop up at the end of the season when we got to turn that trail back into a ski run.
That's, you know what?
Features in mountain biking.
You be careful what you ask for. The more you move up, the more people you've got to keep under your tutelage. Man, 16 people's a lot to keep focused on a mountain the size of Killington. I mean, that's incredible. Hey, I've got a question. We go back to beginners and stuff.
Sure.
In skiing and snowboarding, we have the PSIA. How do you get instructors? How do they come about?
A lot of our bike coaches are ski or snowboard instructors in the winter. So much like, our core group of terrain park attendants in the winter transfer over to the bike trails in the summer, there's a lot of carryover season to season. And I think just being the largest bike park in the East, there's just that draw. People know, that we're a busy place, and they could probably find a job and share some knowledge with people that are just getting into the sport. Our coaches go through some extensive training every spring, and then returning coaches continue that training year over year. So BICP, I believe, is kind of what they reference, and that's bike instructor certification program. So there's a couple different levels, much like there is in the winter side of things, and our coaches go through the ranks, and based on their certification, that's how they get assigned different groups based on abilities.
So they are professional instructors, just like in the winter.
Yep.
That understand how to get, how to connect with the client, which is so important, because sometimes when you go to a smaller resort somewhere or a smaller ski area, we're bringing kids up through the ranks that are just learning to make it to the Killington level. But to have that level of instruction is huge.
Yeah, they're definitely professional over there. It's not just some random person saying, "Hey, let's go ride bikes." I think a big part of being an instructor is being able to have those interpersonal skills and be able to talk to people, read people, and just kind of adapt the day and lesson to the people that you're with. And our team does a great job with that.
That's awesome.
And one of the things that is so important to kind of touch on, it's what makes Killington so special, is consistency. I mean, the ski instructor to bike instructor, if you're a family, to have that consistency, or possibly see a familiar face when you go up there for the first time, I mean, that in itself is priceless. I'm a big fan of that. Just having and it's also what breeds community. Like, I know Killington, like all the towns we lived in, small town, it's a pretty special place, and it's because of the people.
Yeah, I think the people in Killington are some of the best I've ever met. Everyone's really passionate. Everyone that works here is really connected to the community and committed to making every day as good as it can be for our guests.
Well, you brought up the Eastern State Cup and so on. I know that comes through there. What other events, big time events with what I'll say really world-class riders, is coming through Killington this year?
Yeah, the summer is really transformed over the past decade. Killington used to be pretty quiet. Restaurants would close down. You could skateboard down the access road and not see a car the whole way down. You can't do that anymore. It's just way too busy. The restaurants are open, the shops are open, and the mountain is popping off with activity. In addition to our big mountain bike events, the Eastern States Cup and the US Open, we have a local race series called Bike Bum. We do that every Wednesday from late June or early June to late August. We have a trail over on Snowshed that we race. So that's really fun. Try to beat your friends and gather points over the season to take the top step in bragging rights for the next year. We also do a bunch of group rides. Every other Friday, We do the Divas of Dirt. That's a women's clinic and group ride. So there's always a great turnout. That group seems to get bigger every year.
Some of the best women are some of the best riders out there.
I agree. And
They
there's
they
some
they
really
have
good
gotten
ones
so
there.
strong.
Well, they don't complain.
They don't, and there's no ego. They just
They go.
ride.
They just
They
ride.
just send it.
Yeah.
They send it.
And they cheer for each other. You know, they're happy.
In addition to that Divas of Dirt, we have the Foundation Free Ride Clinic. That's another all women's mountain bike event. They were here for the first time last year, kind of spending a couple days around the mountain, just practicing their skills. And that event concluded with a little jump jam at the bottom of Black Magic. So there's a great turnout of riders and spectators to support them. We also do a lot of weddings here. Between the Grand, the Peak, the new K1 Lodge, it seems like every weekend there's a different wedding group in town. And we also do a lot of free music every Saturday. We do Cooler in the Mountains, and sometimes it's local acts, sometimes some bigger names, but our events team has a really good lineup this year, good eclectic mix of bands. So definitely check that out on Saturday afternoons. We usually do that at the bottom of Snowshed, but there's been some talk of possibly moving that location. So stay tuned to our social pages for an update there.
Now, there's been some talk that you've been known to play a guitar, you know, or something along those lines. But Mike and I were talking, and one of the things that makes any resort area is so great is, you know, food, community. You know, what are the, you know, when you get off the trail, where am I getting that margarita, or where am I going to get that cup of coffee or burrito? You know, what's happening around town in that aspect?
Yeah, I do play guitar. I taught myself back in middle school. My buddy's friend was in a punk band, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Wanted to go on tour, and that kind of fell apart. But I still play in my spare time, and I haven't done any open mic nights in town. It's been a while since I played in front of a crowd, but I'm thinking about it, maybe later this summer. As far as, you know, après in the winter, like midday for a lunch, I'm going to K1 Lodge. Like that is the best food selection on the mountain. They do a really good job there, and there's a beautiful bar upstairs if you're into that. Great view of the mountain. You know, a sleeper spot for food at the mountain is the clubhouse over at the golf course. They're open year round. And if you're playing golf, you can order at the turn at the 9th hole. You can call it in. They got a menu, and it's ready for you to pick up when you get up there at the next hole. But yeah, that's a good spot. A lot of employees like to go there for lunch. It's convenient. But in the summer, we also have the Bistro food trailer. That's sponsored by Mountain Dew, and they offer, you know, it's just grilled food, but they're always spicing up the menu and offering something a little different than the cafeteria. If I'm going off campus, it's going to be to the Lookout. That's the restaurant. When
the
you leave
local
the mountain, it's the last restaurant you'll pass coming up to the mountain, but I've never had a bad experience there. The service is always good, staff are friendly, and even when they change the menu, they're not changing the world. And highly recommend the Beast chicken sandwich.
We had Donna on the podcast from the Base Lodge, no less, back in March, maybe, Donna Weinbeck. And I gave a plug for her family's restaurant there because she, you know, they really are great people.
I agree.
So take it off campus, as you just stated. What other mountain biking is around there? Okay. I should ask first off, this just came to me. You have an uphill pass for skinning. Do you have an uphill pass for riding?
We don't have an uphill pass in the summer, but we do have an uphill route. It's the main work road from the bottom of Superstar at the top of the road. That winds up across Snowshed, around the back of Sky Peak, and then up to the K1 Peak. And that'll give you access to all the trails up there.
So you don't require a pass to climb that. Anybody can do it anytime.
Nope, just show up and ride as long as you have a helmet. Yeah, you'll see people climbing up all the time up there through the summer.
I'm a climber, so I like that idea. So what?
The
Yeah.
young kids are laughing at us.
You're
Mike.
laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're laughing at us.
I'm spoiled with the chairlift. I definitely been pedaling less over the past couple of years. It's just so easy to throw your bike on the lift and get a couple laps, and it's a different kind of workout. You know, it's,
Don't laugh at me, but when I go to Vail, I climb. I don't ride. Okay, it's a long climb. What else? You know, I'm a cross country rider. What else in the area if I'm there and want to do some cross country riding at the same time?
yeah, right down the street, Basecamp Outfitters. They have a whole trail network right behind their shop there. You can park right at the shop and drop into the woods and ride for miles. They've been doing a ton of work over the past couple years, building those trails up. Definitely more cross country oriented over there. A lot of up and down, with no real sustained downhill. So that's good if you're just looking for, you know, a quick hour pedal, get the heart rate up. If you go down the hill, down Route 100, across from Kent Pond at Gifford Woods, there's a couple new trails over there. That one is called Sureburner, and that is really fun. That's kind of the trail of this area has been missing. Very similar to some of the stuff we offer at the bike park, but you have to pedal for it. There's a dedicated climbing trail, and the trail itself is a one-way downhill run with plenty of berms, rolls, optional jumps. Great trail. Definitely check that out. A little further down Route 100 is the Sherburne trails. And those kind of circle around the backside of Kent Pond. And that's another good spot for beginners, intermediates, just kind of go out, quick little lap. You know, you can do as many loops as you want, a few different trails that intersect. So that's kind of the hub of the riding in Killington is right around Kent Pond at the bottom of the access road. But if you go, you know, 40 minutes down into Woodstock, the Aqueduct Trails and Mount Peg, some of my favorite places.
Huge, great spot.
Now,
they do beautiful work with those trails.
what time in the morning do you have to get up? And you haven't taken a break. You've gone from winter right into summer. It's days have got to be long for you boys.
There's some long days for sure. The winter, the days are a little longer, especially you know, if we're building a new park that we want to open the next day or prepping for an event. There's a lot of late nights into early mornings. Definitely pretty comfortable with 15-hour days in the winter. I've got a 1-year-old daughter at home, so that's kind of been a good excuse for me to not overwork myself and just be here every hour of the day.
It's called liberating.
It is, you know, different responsibilities, but it's been good for my work-life balance. Otherwise, I'd just be here working, you know, 24 hours a day because I love what I do so much. But,
Well, that's huge that you love it, because it doesn't become work when you love it. Let me ask you, let's go away from biking, mountain biking at the moment. What else is being offered for the summer to do for the family on the mountain or at Killington in proper?
yeah, we have a beautiful 18-hole golf course right across the street. That opened a week early this year, week earlier than we normally open. The course was in great shape. So it's a challenging course, a lot of hills, a lot of turns. I definitely lose a lot of balls over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, golfing, we've got the Adventure Center right at the base of Snowshed. We've got a zip line, the Soaring Eagle, which is kind of like a slingshot ride. You sit, two people, pulls you all the way up, and then you get to the top tower and it just releases, and it's kind of like a free fall down the cable. So that's always really busy. And then we've got a ropes course down there. We've got the Beast Mountain Coaster. That is super fun. 2 adults going with no brakes on that. It feels like you're going to fly off the track, but
Love it.
Love it.
in,
Let's go, Chip.
Yep, I'm in.
yeah, 10 out of 10. I'd ride that thing all day if I didn't have other things to do. And then we got a playground down there for the kids. We've got a little track for Strider bikes, the little kick bikes. We leave those out. They're free to use during our operating hours. And then we have a bunch of hiking trails as well. You can go all the way up to the peak. If you don't want to hike up and then hike down, you can take a scenic gondola ride. Get that express lift up to the peak and then hike down, or just take the gondola back down. So There's a lot to do here, even if you're not into mountain biking.
You know, and that's so huge, because when you think Killington, the one thing that comes to mind, skiing. But it's you've got everything. I mean, a family could go up here for a weekend or a week and not get bored, it sounds like. It just, you've got it all.
Yeah, this past weekend over Memorial Day, over at Pico, we had the Total Archery Challenge. It was a 3-day event. Parking lot was packed. Bunch of people just coming out for target practice, hunting Bigfoot and turkeys and bears. Like, it was pretty wild. Targets, of course, not the real animals, but yeah, that event's really gotten popular over the past few years, and it has nothing to do with skiing or mountain biking, but we offer it.
Right. Well, one last question from me. What about e-bikes? Are you allowing them on the hill?
We do allow e-bikes. We don't allow, the electric motorcycles. You gotta have pedals on it. It's got
Pedal assist?
Pedal assist. But we do allow those on all of our trails. We just don't allow them on the gondola because they don't fit. The weight is too much for the style of carrier we have. But if your bike will fit in the tray, if your tires aren't too fat, then you can go up Snowshed and Ramshead and ride with the rest of the people.
Oh, that's great. Or you can use that uphill climb and use the e-power on the way up and just go.
Save your energy for the rip down. Do it again in the amount of time it take you to pedal up on an analog bike.
I like it.
You're a glutton.
You know what? I've got both.
I mean,
so. What else, Chip?
I like the one part. It's like, Mike, you and I have talked about this for years. I love that you said you went to Bryant. So many people think that we're just the fun bum chasers. It's important for people to realize that there's professionals in our industry, and you guys are maintaining these trails. And when you say they're safe, they're safe. And I mean, I know I appreciate it. I know your customers do. And I think that's one of those underrated things. Good on you, because so many people think we just woke up and just headed to the mountains and called it good. And they don't realize there's a lot of training that goes into this.
Yeah, there is. And, every day I'm learning something new. I work a lot with the other mountain operations departments. I work really closely with marketing. So cover a lot of ground in my day-to-day role here. And having that college background definitely helped. I think as much as the educational piece was just kind of the life experience, interacting with people, developing a sense of responsibility, working on a schedule. And it's definitely helped me get to where I am now. And, a lot of the people on our crew, we have a good mix of people who went to college and then found terrain parks, and other people who have kind of just been, in the scene. And after high school, they just started working at a mountain, whether it was here or their local hill, get some experience, and then move on up to Vermont. So we're definitely passionate about what we do, and we're always learning. I don't think there's ever going to be an end to learning in terms of what it takes to run a mountain like this, and especially with the trail work. There's always a new tip or technique or way of doing things.
Well, it's called being open-minded to change, and I think college. Look, all of us aren't going to go to Wall Street. I didn't want to go to Wall Street. I wanted to be in the ski industry, which is what I did. And I'll never look back. And I know you will never look back. It's just another segment of our life, so living life. So, Taylor, I want to thank you for coming on today. Say hi to Mike and Lee and the whole crew up there at Killington for me.
Keep up the good work, and, just keep that smile on your face.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you taking the time to chat with me, and hope to see you out here on the trails.
I will be up there this summer. I'll reach
be
out
on the
before I come
chairlift.
up.
Mike will be the one riding up that dirty road.
And if nothing else, you got a gravel grinder? We'll go spend some time on a dirt road.
I'm not afraid of that.
Awesome. All right, Taylor, thanks an awful lot. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye.
This is the year to visit the Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. With over 450 inches of annual snowfall, 4,000 vertical feet of continuous fall line skiing, a world-renowned ski school, and terrain for everyone, the Jackson Hole Mountain Resort is perfect for your next ski trip with friends or family. Off the slopes, Jackson Hole offers adventure and relaxation. Visit Yellowstone or Grand Teton National Parks. See elk, moose, and bison roaming in their natural habitats, or relax in a hot spring or at a spa. No more excuses. This is the year to go visit Jackson Hole. Go to jacksonhole.com for more information.
Hestra knows hands. For over 80 years, Hestra has been producing the highest quality, warmest gloves you can own. Crafted with durable, form-fitting leathers, they are made with the end user in mind. Don't let cold hands end a great day of skiing or snowboarding early. With hundreds of different options, you'll find a Hestra glove that fits your needs. Check out Hestra Gloves at hestragloves.com. That's HESTRAGLOVES.com. Or at your local ski shop or wherever Hestra gloves are sold. Hestra Gloves, taking care of your hands since 1936.
Chip, Vermont this week, Colorado a couple weeks ago. I'm going to take the summer off. How about you?
I think I might have already. What an eye-opening experience. And it's, you know, and I'll be honest, I kind of forgot a little bit about Vermont. You know, I'm ski, I'm surf, I'm kind of stuck on the beach sometimes. And you know what, honestly, my doctor's been telling me I should probably get out on my bike. I might not tell her it's lift accessed, but
Yeah. My wife doesn't like me on lifts. So moral of the story there, okay, I've got to give you a little story here. When we were living in Colorado, of course, it was pre-full suspension bikes and stuff of that nature. And so I took my wife to Copper and said, let's go ride bikes for a day. And took her up on top of the lift, took her to the top. You know, I don't know, we'd been married, I don't know, a couple years maybe. And she honestly got on it, got white-knuckled, got real nervous, and then the first or second downhill rider went screaming by her with stones flying everywhere, dust everywhere. This was before today's, you know, bermed out, manicured
just
rides.
Yeah.
She almost threw the Marin off the hill. It was hers. Until I got to the Breck Brewery and bought her lunch and got her a couple beers, it was almost divorce time. So, you know, my wife isn't going with me, but she'll ignore what I do.
It's which is good. You know, that's good. You find a way to make things balanced, but it's no, I mean, that was pretty, like I said, I'm impressed. I forgot how big Killington is. And, you know, I see it in the winter. I ski there quite a bit. And part of me does say, you know, like, wow, that would be fun to ride down. And in the fact that they're riding on 5 peaks. I mean,
well, no, I guess from what he just said, okay, they're coming across Bear also. So they're coming across every single peak at Killington, the biggest ski area in the eastern United States.
That's mind-blowing. That's a lot of work.
Okay, I want to put
a lot of fun.
I want to put a disclaimer there when I said the biggest ski area. I don't know acreage-wise, but definitely trail and lift-wise.
Yes.
Okay, so all due respect to possibly Sugarloaf, which I'm thinking about, Burnt Mountain, and so on, but just amazing.
No, and it's a fun town, you know. And as we said earlier, Vermont's a unique place with a ton of food, a lot of different culture. It's I'm actually kind of, Kate and I were talking about what are we gonna do. Vermont might be in my future.
Why not go up to Killington for a couple days?
That's what I'm thinking. It might just be time for me to stop looking at surf reports and just kind of lay back on a chairlift. And, you know, I could probably ride one of these full suspension bikes pretty well.
Well, it's, you know, if you're a motocross rider, it's second nature because it's all about, you know, lines. But, you know, I think the other thing about Vermont is that Killington is, without a doubt, they have more to do than anywhere in the mountains of the Northeast. But I think once you get off the beaten paths, once you go down, find that little swimming hole and stuff, it's pretty amazing. And a couple spots that I really have always really enjoyed riding at Killington. I would always go up and ride the Green Mountain Trails up in Pittsfield. Just really, really a cool experience where I've had black bear run right in front of me. And the other spot, early season or late season, or even in the winter, is down at Pine Hill in Rutland. A little county park laced with mountain bike trails or hiking trails that are so cool and flowy.
No, and it's like one of those best kept little secrets. You know, like he brought up Woodstock. Like Killington is one of those places. It's a great base camp, and then from there you can go north, you can go south. It's everywhere, you know. And we didn't even get into the rivers. There's so much to do in that entire area.
Killington, Central Vermont, Woodstock. It is a dreamy, as we said, the vibe of Vermont is so chill, so relaxed, and you can make it whatever you want it to be. And if you have an enduro type motorcycle, you can ride the back roads, you can do whatever.
And also it kind of blew my mind because going back to your wife's mountain bike story, Kate, we come from different backgrounds, and as adventurous as she is, we don't quite see adventure at the same level. But for her to be able to ride and me to go ride and enjoy the same day, they're priceless. I mean, that's what it's all about. We both walk home with the same smile, and as you and I both know, that's what this is about.
It's exactly what it's about. I can guarantee you, though, my wife will never get on a lift service with a mountain bike ever again. I tainted her a long time ago.
We'll put her and Kate together.
Exactly.
And then we'll go do.
They'll go have lunch or go down to the spa.
Whatever the story is, I'm fine with it.
Exactly. Well, that's going to be it for the base camp today. Thank you all for joining us. We will be back in 2 weeks during our summer schedule here. Looking forward to bringing you new and exciting things. We will be back out west just to put a little Utah stuff coming up. And we're going to do a little skiing, I think. I've got to get the guest yet, but I think we're set to go. So there'll be some fun stuff coming up. All right. We'll see you next time on the Basecamp Podcast.
New England Ski Journal's Basecamp is a Seamans Media podcast. Seamans Media. Inspiring, informative, insightful.